time it is. Marvin Devine, Huber, Axel, and you know how we do. Yeah, I got the juice. Whip game cool, make them look like cool. Always play it cool, that's the biggest rule. Forget what they doing, keep on doing. I've been making loot since like 22. Ask me how I made it right here in the booth. I'm always pursued cause of what I pursue. That's greatness, yeah, I gotta make it, I got things to lose. Boy, just wanna get in my crew, but you can't get in my crew. Me, XL, and Huber, way too fireable. When this joint drop, better call the troops. And when you hear the drop, better raise the roof. Better raise the roof. You already know what happens when we link up. Let's go. Yeah.
All these brothers, my guys, know that they fly, know that they ride or die. I keep waves by my side, CJ Ike, now I gotta roll with ice. Cold, these brothers, my guys, know that they fly, know that they ride or die. I keep waves by my side, CJ Ike, now I gotta roll with ice. Ride or die, 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 ride or die. Cold, these brothers, my guys, know that they fly, know that they ride or die. I keep waves by my side, CJ Ike, now I gotta ride or die.
Y'all ready for this? Yeah.
This is the Lisa Baxter Show, giving you the 411 and the kidney one. Not my girl, and say, this is.
I was thinking one day, and I said, why don't they make a dialysis reality show? Or, wouldn't that be nice? Or if they make a transplant show, or a podcast, or a movie, or something like that to spread awareness and bring awareness. I don't know. I mean, I wish they had support groups. I wish they had organizations and foundations. I wish they had kidney walks and stuff, and to educate communities and families and stuff. Oh man, I got this great idea, but I don't know how to orchestrate it. I'm trying to put this idea out there, but I don't know how to put together or network it, but I don't know. I think I saw something the other day. I think it was on Urban Health, or I think it was on cable or something like that. It was my girl. What is her name? Lila, Leaky, Lele. No, it was Lisa Baxter. And she knows so much, and she knows so many people, and I just love her. I like her, and I think she might know something about that, or maybe can put this idea together. Maybe it was never thought of. Maybe I'm the genius that thought of it. Who knew? Who knows? But I know one thing. This is the Lisa Baxter Show, giving you the 411 in the kidney world. Hi, guys. Happy Sunday. How are you? I hope everything is going well, sweet, and wise. My scripture for you today is when a man ways pleases the Lord, he maketh even his enemies to be at peace with him. Who wouldn't want peace from everybody? I know that's right. Well, anyway, I won't hold anything up because I got a wonderful, fabulous, excellent, fantabulous guest tonight. Oh, he is a man's man. You hear me? He is an advocate. He's a voice for the people. He just a little bit of everything. He works with a pharmaceutical industry for over 25 years. You know, he's an author. He's a writer. He's an editor that write things. How about that? I mean, he writes so much stuff. He worked with nephrology, the American Society of Nephrologists. And he just do a little bit of everything with organizations and doing his own thing at the same time. I'm going to let him tell his own story. I'm going to let it put it out there. Okay, Kevin Fowler, the man. Woohoo! PKD. Right,
Hi, Lisa.
Right. Hi.
That was quite a build-up. You put me on my comfort zone here. So thank you again for the invitation.
I'm just so glad you accepted. I'm glad that we had met years ago at Rogerson's, and you didn't forget me. I didn't forget you. And you my PKD warrior, and you the transplant warrior. And I'm definitely want you to tell your story. I know it's going to reach so many people out there. I just
thanks for the opportunity, and I just hope that tonight our conversation can help people out there that are maybe struggling without hope, and that's a bad situation. So, just a little bit about me personally. I live in Chicago right now, but we're in the process of moving. I'm married. I'll be 26 years in July, and I have two children, 23 and 21. And I guess my story kind of begins. I grew up in St. Louis, Missouri, and grew up in the south part of the city, and just a regular blue collar neighborhood. And as one of the things that was kind of unique about our childhood is my mother had polycystic kidney disease, the same disease that you and I share. And at that time, there was really nothing you could do for polycystic kidney disease. It was really something that I saw my mom sick, a lot of the time, and she ended up dying very young. She died at 52 while she was on dialysis, and then she also lost her other two sisters to dialysis. And so, my poor grandmother lost all three of her daughters and saw her husband also die to polycystic kidney disease. And so, it affected me in a lot of ways. And I will say this right now, I didn't live the healthiest lifestyle, meaning I didn't watch what I ate. I didn't, I honestly, I was just so scared of what my future may happen in the future. And part of that was because the message was internally was that if you have polycystic kidney disease, there's really not much you can do for you. So anyway, fast forward, I'm married. This is now the year 2000, living in St. Louis. As I mentioned, we're moving back to St. Louis. And my primary care doctor told me that my kidney function was fine. And right around Christmas time, of 2000, I started having back pain. And so I had to ask my primary care doctor to do an ultrasound test because that would determine whether I had polycystic kidney disease. And so in January of 2001. I was 39 years old with let's see, my son was about a year. My daughter was 3 years. I was told I was going to renal failure and I'd be on dialysis in 3 to 5 years. I've just been married 5 years. So I told my wife, hey, you won the lottery by marrying me. and it was just, obviously it was devastating emotionally, because, really the first thing that went through your mind is how long am I going to live, right? And saw what my mom went through. And I think part of the story I just try to hopefully communicate to people is trust yourself. And what happened is that when my primary care doctor diagnosed me with polycystic kidney disease, I said to myself, well, you were the one telling me that everything was fine. I had to tell you to do the test. And now you want to make a referral to a nephrologist. And I said, no, thanks. So I just communicate that to everyone. Trust your instincts. And what I did is I contacted a friend of mine over at Barnes Hospital. I was working for Pfizer at that time and had a doctor friend. I explained my situation, and I really was at a real low point, and he made a referral to a nephrologist, Dr. Brent Miller at Barnes Hospital in St. Louis. And so I had my appointment with Dr. Miller with my wife on March 6, 2001, which just happened to be the date my mom's birthday. And I go in there to see him, and he says, well, you know what? You'll be able to have a preemptive kidney transplant, and you won't have to go on dialysis. And I was like, you don't have to go on dialysis? And there's an obligation, I always say this, is that, I am one of about only 3% of people that get a preemptive transplant. That hasn't changed since I had mine in 2004. And if you look at African Americans, the rate of preemptive transplantation is only 1%. And that's just wrong. That really, and I to this day, I have been so blessed to have that trust in myself and to be given the best possible treatment. And it breaks my heart when I see so many people are not given that same opportunity. And so then eventually, I continued to work. I was working as a sales manager, and was just wondering what's going to happen, right? The uncertainty, that, Lisa, you've been through this and more. And then it came the time to find a donor. My wife was instrumental in finding a donor. She wrote letters to friends of ours to notify people of the situation, and we had 14 people come forward to offer to be a donor. And it was such a humbling moment. And every time I think about that, I'm very humbled. And so that transplant was in August of 2004. And I would say overall, my experience has probably been much easier than others. I've had some challenges, not to diminish those, but overall, compared to so many people that go through dialysis, I've been so fortunate. And then the best part is how I got to do the work I'm doing right now today. I've been doing since the last 7 years. I absolutely love what I do. It's just such an honor to be doing the work I'm doing. But anyway, I'm probably talking too much, but kind of give you a little bit. That's how I got to the transplant. And my message is everyone, trust yourself. If you feel like something's not adding up, trust that feeling and act on it. Hey, Lee. Can't hear it, Lisa. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you have a beautiful woman in your corner. She has your back. I had a husband like that had my back, willing to give me a kidney, suffer the thing with me. He found out before we got married, and he still wanted me and stayed with me. And my hat and my heart to your wife and any other spouse out there that's hanging in there with their woman or hanging in there with their man. It means a lot to them, even if we don't say it. I probably said it, knowing me, but because I talk a lot. But but
you're right.
You just want to hear it both ways. You know what I mean? And it's just nice to hear and nice to have that type of support. You did jump from A to Z. I didn't get a chance, but I ain't mad at you. You wouldn't be my only guest. In 11 years, I have all types. So we all like to talk. It's all right.
I'm happy to go back to B, C, and D. So you just let me know. I'm sorry.
We're gonna back it up now. Okay. While you were working on your job, did you have any issues with your PKD? Was it bothering you? Did you have any symptoms or anything of that nature?
Yeah, so after, I didn't have many symptoms before I was diagnosed, and then when I was diagnosed with PKD, the primary symptoms I had is I had a lot of back pain, which I still have to this day because of the size of the kidneys. And then the other symptom is that I became tired, really easily, and so I think that was a challenge because I became really fatigue was a real challenge, but I was fortunate to work full time, so.
Well, that's good. I mean, did you have to share anything with your job, or did you tell them anything? Or I know with my job, I was a social worker for 25 years, and I was a social Steve. I was a social worker for 25 years, and that type of thing, I had to tell them because I was in the office by myself. And then when I did start the job, I had just started. I had the job a while, but I went on dialysis like in 2004. So I was diagnosed back when I was getting married, and everything. And they had saw the catheter and stuff like that. So I had to be honest and tell them in case I, passed out in my office or anything like that. It was an office that you could see through in the window, it was a glass on the door that you could see straight in, and stuff. And they worried about that because I had passed out, later in time before and stuff like that, low blood pressure, low calcium, and I would pass out. My pressure go low, bam. So I said that to say this. Sometimes I know some dialysis patients personally that don't tell their job anything, afraid to tell a job or embarrassed over it, or just don't want anybody to know if their secret is in a bottle and leave it in there, cut it shut, shut it. So did you have any experience like that or anything similar to that?
Yeah, it's a really good question. So I think part of it was, I eventually I did tell my employer. I had a very good relationship with my manager, so I think every situation is different. But I knew this person very well, I was friends with them before the job, so I told them, and then eventually I had to tell the company when I had a new boss, and they were very supportive. And the company was Pfizer, and they were very good. But I had been there for a long time. At that time, I'd been in the company for about, I'd been in there about almost 20 years at that point in time. But what I didn't tell is I didn't tell many of my friends. That was one thing I didn't do, which is maybe that's a male thing, but I didn't share because I felt like, well, this is my burden that I had to walk alone with.
Okay. Well, did you talk about children or worrying about having any children that may go through this particular thing as well?
Yeah, and regarding planning for children, our children had been born they were born before I was tested, so it was a moot point at that time. And a lot of people have asked me if you have any regrets, and I mean, I don't, but no, they were born before that I was tested, so it was really a non-issue. So.
Well, that's good. That's good. That's really good. I mean, I got PKD from my dad, and 6 of my siblings went on dialysis, and 2 of my aunts, my uncle, my mother-in-law. And, my brother really was on because he was diabetic. He didn't have polycystic kidney disease. And this Tuesday, matter of fact, I'm doing a family show, my first family show, that I have them on a whole panel of them so people can really see them say it for themselves, see it, put it all the way out there. Even though I'm an open book and I keep it 1,000, I still want the person to tell their own story, their own testimony, their own victory, their own thing, that their own struggle. So, did you, okay, so that's good about the children. Did you go through any clinical trials or wanted to go through any clinical trials to slow the progression or stop this thing or hear about anything?
Excellent question. I would have loved to have been in a clinical trial, but just at that time when I was going through polycystic kidney disease, that wasn't an option then. All it was just taking your blood pressure medication and watch what you ate. But I would have loved to have that. We know that's a lot different situation now for polycystic kidney disease than it was back then. But no, I'd say the biggest change I made is I started exercising. My doctor got me in the habit of exercising, and I've continued that to this day. And that's probably one of the best habits I got from that. So that helped.
Exercising is good.
Yeah.
You don't really have to let this interrupt your life or, kill it in any way. I mean, you just got to readjust things and reorganize things, and you can still live. My family, we still traveled. A lot of people didn't even know we were sick until we showed up in the center. They said, oh my God, it's a lot of them, or it's the whole family, kind of thing. But other than that, we live normal and regular and normal that you can, until something happened where it shows up, or, something where, you can't hide it. You just got to say it or just deal with it, So I'm glad you was able to work, get married, have children. And you did some editing. Talk about that. You did some editing.
Oh yeah, so the CJ Center, the Clinical Journal of American Society of Nephrology. So I'm myself, Paul Conway, and then Laurie Hartwell are all patient voice editors. So this is part of an initiative that that Dr. Raj Marota from the American Society of Nephrology and Clinical Journal of American Society of Nephrology does. What we do is that when we have research that comes out, they'll identify articles they'd like to get the patient perspective. And so what my role is I help find people to provide commentary on the article research. So like Nicole Jefferson, Dave White, Derek Fornfang, many people I don't know if maybe Derek has it. Anyway, but I know at least the two people I first mentioned, Dave and Nicole, have provided commentary. So that's something that that the American Society really values, to see what people that have the disease, what this research means to them. And in some cases, it means different thing to the people who have the disease. So it's a great initiative.
Well, that's a great point, because I think that's why when I remember when there was really no, kidney shows or awareness stuff, and now it's so many. And that's because we all tell it from a different angle or a different point of view or a different fight or a different cause, but we all run into that same finish line. You know what I mean? To help the person, and to help this person to live and not give up, and to help this person be educated about what's wrong with them or what's going on in the family,
Definitely. And I think the important part too, Lisa, right now is that with the Advancing American Kidney Health Initiative that was that was issued back in 2019, is that, starting now in the future, people with kidney disease are going to have a lot more choices. And that is long overdue.
Well, you need more choices, and you need more stuff to do.
Absolutely.
And you need your questions answered. And sometimes you don't get that from the team, God forbid, or maybe sometimes the doctor, or maybe you're not hearing them, or maybe they're just not hearing you. But you're also an advocate, and you also have some other things going on, right?
Yeah. So I a couple things. Well, yeah, I was a professional. So what I do professionally, based on my professional pharmaceutical experience, I work with companies that are developing clinical trials for new treatments for kidney transplantation, or to slow down the progression of kidney disease. That's really my interest is to get early in the, yes, that's where my real passion is to get, to find treatments that can slow down the progression of kidney disease, so that we change the whole conversation rather than talking about the expectation of dialysis. Let's start changing the treatment paradigm. And then I'm on the board of directors for the Kidney Health Initiative, which is a joint initiative between the American Society of Nephrology and the FDA. And it's a wonderful program. Dave White's on the board of directors as well too. And Nicole Jefferson is on the Patient Family Partnership Council. So I encourage people to learn about the Patient Family Partnership Council. It's a wonderful opportunity.
Yeah. And I know Laurie Hartwell. I said, I know Laurie Hartwell, and Dave White and I work together. We work on the same job.
Yes.
So, yeah.
He's a good guy.
Yeah, he is. He is. I knew him way before that, so that's good. We need that cake, that mixture out here to get this thing going. And I'm glad you're talking about prevention, because everybody don't want to go on dialysis. Everybody don't want to transplant. But if there's something out there that can prevent either or, that would be a blessing. And I'm sure somebody way before we dealt with dialysis wished the same thing or prayed for the same thing, Now, what is I'm trying to read my handwriting. I wrote this small.
I have a difficulty reading mine, so.
I wrote this small, and I should have the magnifying glass. if I wasn't going to bring the reading glasses over here. But you, what was it called? The Voice of the Patients Incorporated. Tell us about that. That sounds good by itself.
Yeah, it's a lot. It sounds a lot more than it is. It's me. It's just the name of the consulting work I do. I mean, that's what I do for a living. So just, full disclosure, that's where I work with. That's the name of the corporation, and I just work with different companies that are working to find the trials that we talked about, and part of it is work with the community to educate them on clinical trials. There's other areas, but there's a lot of exciting things happening in nephrology in terms of future treatments that will slow down the progression that I would encourage people here to learn about. If they go to clinicaltrials.gov and type in, let's say, for example, lupus, that'll list all the different clinical trials that are associated with that disease. And that's what I want to do until my last breath, is focus on getting away from dialysis.
Run if you can. I know I had Bill.
I would like to see go out of business. That's my goal.
I had Bill on the show, and he has never experienced dialysis, and I've known him a long time. He dressed as a healthy kidney, and a National Kidney Foundation, and a Polycystic Kidney Disease Foundation walks. He dressed with, he had the cyst all over it. He looked like a beat up kidney. I said, oh my God. But either way, I took pictures with him with both of those kidneys, but I like what he was doing and where he's going. He has a beautiful family, the daughters, the wife, and everything. And they're out there, and he sits on the board. I ain't mad at him, So I'm glad you're doing what you're doing, and I'm glad you are trying to do something new or something better or something different. And I'm sure some of the beautiful people out there that's hearing your story may want you on their show, So I know Urban Health would want you, but there are other shows out there. Don't ever hesitate to go on all of them if you have to. And there's nothing about, we're not making any money. We all do this for free. We all do this because we love the people out there. So you're just getting something out there that they didn't hear or they didn't know about, So any websites you got, any phone numbers you have, or something that they can learn out there, please say so. Please say it. Put it out there.
There's two things I would say, Lisa, that I would suggest. There's like a new class of medications that it's been proven to slow down the progression of kidney disease, and they're called Sgl2 inhibitors. And so there's a number of these different medications. One just got approved for just kidney disease. And these are medications that are new class that have shown to have a number of benefits in terms of, slowing down the progression of kidney disease. They also help with diabetes. They also help with other areas as well, too. But I would just encourage people that if they do have kidney disease, they ask their doctor about this new class of medications called the Sgl2 inhibitors. They're something that can really help a lot of people. That's the first thing I would say. The other thing I would say too is also just go to clinicaltrials.gov, and whatever your disease is, if it's diabetic kidney disease, if it's lupus, if it's PKD, type that in and see what those clinical trials are. And I would encourage you to ask your nephrologist about these trials. If they don't know it, then contact the doctor that's listed on the trial site. But in my opinion, Lisa, to really change the expectations, to put dialysis in the rearview mirror, it's not going to happen in my lifetime. I hope it happens once we're gone, right? It's to find new and better treatments that can focus upon slowing down the progression of kidney disease. And that's what I'll do until my last breath, until I leave this earth. Ride
it till the wheels fall off, huh?
What's it? I'm sorry?
You're going to ride it till the wheels fall off, right?
I am. That's it. And then some. I may even have the wheels off, and I may be just like dragging down the street, but I'm still going to keep at it. But I think that my message is that I think that the patients that had kidney disease have not had the best possible care. And now we deserve better care as a whole community, everyone.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. People are afraid about what they don't know or what they don't understand. Side effects of all the medicines you take as a transplant. I mean, mine went way
Right.
down, and it went way down easily, but people are afraid of that. People don't know that how it would affect when the blood is being drawn from your body, going through a machine and coming back. So when they hear this stuff, they get scared. Now, sometimes you say clinical trial, people say, "Oh, I ain't no guinea pig," or then they want to know the side effects of these medications. Do they have a lot of bad side effects or anything for them to worry about if they dealt with these clinical trials? If
Yeah,
you know.
there may be some, and those are all questions that you can ask the person that's responsible for that trial. So those are all questions, all part of the informed consent process. But those are all questions you ask. So any trial is strictly it's a volunteer choice on your end. I do want to say one other thing too. If you want to learn more about like becoming involved with kidney disease organizations like AAKP, American Association of Kidney Patients, National Kidney Foundation, those are other good places I would encourage people to look at for information and to become involved as well too.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, the renal network. There are a lot of good
Renal
ones
Support Network.
out there, you know,
Yep,
for so
there
many
are.
things, because kidney patients don't always have just a sickness or a disease or being or dealing with this thing. Sometimes there are financial issues involved. Sometimes, they don't have any money or housing and stuff like that. That's why my show is full of resources. I try to give different types, different kinds, and even different illnesses. It may be a sickle cell, psychosis. It could be something else they're dealing with, or a combination of things along with dialysis or along with having a transplant. But whatever it is, I mean, we all out here to be a support. We all out here to pray. We all out here to hold your hand, and we all out here to make something happen. So I'm glad that you're doing what you're doing, what you're trying to do, and even what you're doing. But would you, if you had to tell somebody that had to go through what you went through or dealing with what you dealt with, what would you say to them to encourage them? Put some encouragement out there.
Yeah, I think encourage is this is so trite, but you have to look out for yourself, right? So you have to, if you have to advocate for your health. You have to trust yourself. You don't have to have an MD behind your name to have that knowledge. You trust yourself. And I think the other part too is that if you don't know, then I think go and speak to people out there that have been through it, right? Like myself, Patrick G, Derek Forfang. There's many of us out there, right, that have been through this, and that we're here to help provide support. And that's what these patient organizations like AAKP and NKFS do as well. But I think that, it's kind of like my situation. Many things had changed for the better, but I had my head buried under the ground, and I didn't deal with it until I was forced to. I was just very fortunate by an act of grace to have a preemptive transplant. And but I just say you got to fight for your health. That to me is it, and that's priority, and that's my philosophy is to fight, that's my philosophy. And then I think the other thing too, Lisa, like someone just asked a question about exercise, right? I mean, that's something that I would say that I've done routinely since 2001. Is just I have like I'll go. But today we went walking downtown Chicago, right? My son, my wife, we just walked all over, right? We have an elliptical, but every day I have to do something where I say I got a good sweat, right, and get the blood moving. That's one thing that if you have any level of kidney disease, there's benefits from that. So anyway.
Circulation. Yeah. My husband and I used to jog together. We ran together. We exercised together. Sometimes we did those things apart, but we did a lot of that together. And that's nice that you do it as a family, because if it comes a way of life, you, your son, your children would do that anyway, because they know that's something that it should be done. Just like if you ate right, or your nutrition, the habits of the family, the good and the bad affect the whole family. You know what I'm saying? So
well said. Well said. And that's a really good point you bring up there too, Lisa. I think about if you have like a situation that if you have like a genetic disease where there's a possibility other family members that have it, like we both have with PKD, I always try to think about the example you're setting for others to emulate, right? So think about the responsibility you have to be a leader. And that to me is also what motivates me, is to set a good example, not just for your family, but for those who are going to follow us, right? There's a responsibility there.
People were looking at you. I know they looked at me in the center when I was in there for 12 years, and I enjoyed being an advocate. It was heavy work sometimes. Sometimes it was exhausting, but you were glad to do it, just like we're glad to do this. You know what I mean? Did we leave anything out? Is there anything extra you want to say before I let you give you a shout out to whoever you want to give you a shout out to? I'm enjoying our conversation. I'm enjoying what I'm learning and what I'm hearing, and I'm sure they are too.
Yeah, my main message is as a community as a whole, always trust your intuition about something, right? And demand better care. Demand it, and think about those who are going to follow us as well, so we make it better for them. But the bottom line is, I love a good fight, and I'm going to fight until my last breath until things turn for the better.
Woo!
You
ain't never lied. I ain't mad at you. Come on here.
No. I mean, I'm going down swinging in terms of. I mean that fighting the good fight, right?
Oh yeah.
To change things, that raise expectations, and I think that's it. And I just appreciate the opportunity to speak with you. And if I can help you or others, please let me know.
I'll stay in touch. I'll definitely stay in touch. Anything you need me to post, I'm a post woman. I post a lot of stuff on health, wealth, strength, resources, you name it. Fantabulous stuff, But I like what you're trying. I just like the fact that you don't mind fighting. You don't mind being in a fight. You don't mind being in the trenches or getting your hands dirty.
I love it.
I guess me too. What's a little dirt? Get some soap, wash, you know what I mean?
If you're fighting a good fight, it's not a fight. It's just I think that's the part, is that it's just but I think that based upon what I've been given in my life, there's been a responsibility to do what I'm doing. And I absolutely love what I do. I feel so fortunate.
Your calling. That's your calling, huh?
You got it.
Well, right. You have doctors that welcome your questions when you ask, and you got some that act like what you have the nerve to ask the question. You know what I mean? Or be involved in your care. And some of them want you to be involved and push the fact they want you to be involved in your care. But, you get all those mixed messages, but whatever message it is, you want the right one. You know what I mean? So like you said, advocate for your care. I don't let them just give me any old thing. If it's not right for me, we're going to talk about it. We're going to go to the table on it. You know what I mean? We're going to get some answers.
Yeah.
Do you have any?
No, I think. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. No. I was about to ask you about the shout out. Right. What you wanted to say before I do the shout out?
I just get faint there for a second, Lisa. When turn up the sound here. You were saying, what was the question? I'm sorry.
No, I didn't really have a question. The shout out. I'm gonna ask you about your shout out, but when I heard you talking, respectfully,
Yeah, I would just say, I think the shout out is just to thank the great care I had from my first nephrologist, Dr. Miller, and all the doctors I've had. I've had great doctors who really care. Thank my wife for hanging in there, finding the donor, and then I think the other thing I would just say as a shout out is actually to thank the American Society of Nephrology, the fact that they truly do value the patient voice, and they view us as partners to bring about change. And then the last one was my mom. She set a good example in terms of fighting the good fight when she went through it. So I would just call out her and thank her for her example.
Beautiful. Now that's what I'm talking about. Put it on out there. I had great parents myself, and they put me in the right direction. And I'm glad
you got that right.
That for you. It's not always easy to watch them, go or the disease to progress. So, but you can always remember the fighter in them and the way they raised you and how good they were to you. And sometimes the good things, what you do want to remember, and I'm sure that's what they want to leave with you.
Exactly.
Well, I thank you for being on the show. I thank you for giving us your time and your expertise and your points. And you have an excellent night. My best to your family, and praying about your new house, and congratulations on that, and everything else. Go get them.
Thanks, Lisa. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the invitation. And like I said, let me know if I can help you in any way. And I know it's reciprocal. So thank you again for the opportunity. So I hope it helped someone tonight.
Absolutely. Chicago's in the house. All right now. Good night. Thank you.
Good night.
Be well.
Bye. Okay, you too. Bye.
Guys, you heard it. Oh, was he fantabulous or what? All right, he put it out there, and I know you caught it. So let me tell you this. These are the two resources I got for you for tonight. And one is domestic violence. If you're dealing with that type of thing, call 1-800-621-4673. And if you're a teenager dealing with dating violence, that's real too now, y'all. There's so much violence out there in all kinds of ways. But the dating one is 866-331-4474. And I'll definitely put it in the chat because I do watch the show after. I do answer questions after that. And I do thank you and appreciate you because sharing is caring. It's nice to be important, but it's more important to be nice. And I thank you for this time and space. Don't forget, Tuesday at 8 o'clock. I'm doing a family show on Urban Health Outreach Media Facebook page. And support these other shows out here too, whatever channel or what is on, whatever platform is on. Be a blessing, all right? You're not a curse, you're a blessing and a diamond. I love you. Good night. Appreciate you. V for victory. Peace.
Brothers, my guys, know that they fly, know that they ride or die. I keep boys by my side, CJ Ike, now I gotta roll with ice. These brothers, my guys, know that they fly, know that they ride or die. I keep boys by my side, CJ Ike, now I gotta roll with ice. Ride or die, 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 ride or die. These brothers, my guys, know that they fly, know that they ride or die. I keep boys by my side, CJ Ike, now I gotta ride or die.
Y'all ready for this? Yeah.
This is the Lisa Baxter Show, giving you the 411 and the kidney one. My girl, and say, this is